Karen, thank you. It is 7:02. We are all local all morning, and right now we are looking at day 10 of the partial government shutdown. At this hour, both sides are looking at a short-term solution. A deal could be in the works to raise the nation's debt ceiling. This would help the government avoid hitting its limit on borrowing, and that deadline is next week. The White House says President Obama would, quote, absolutely sign it. But here's the thing. The deal would not end the stalemate over the partial government shutdown. Right now, lawmakers are still trying to hash all of that out in Washington, D.C. Tennessee Congressman Marsha Blackburn joins us live this morning via satellite from our nation's capital to talk about what is happening at this very moment. Marsha, a lot of reports coming out that you guys are getting close to some kind of a deal that would affect this debt ceiling. Tell us what's going on.
Well, Jen, what we are hopeful of is that the president is indeed going to sit down and negotiate with us. We have some of our Republican leadership that will be at the White House later today. We have continued through this entire process to send bills over to the Senate, whether it's a budget, a continuing resolution, options, 14 different options for funding the government, asking them to appoint negotiators, meet us at the table and work with us. So we are hopeful that the president is going to step into this process and that we will be able to construct a deal that will look at the nation's long-term debt, the fiscal responsibilities that we need to have, and then, of course, funding for the essential government services.
So many folks here frustrated with the government. They're either, especially some of our federal workers, they're either working and not getting paid, or they're not working at all and not getting paid. Talk a little bit about the frustration, how you may be able to relate.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are frustrated too.
Well, I think that it's important to note that 83% of the federal government is open and working. We have some of the regulatory agencies that are not working. The EPA, the IRS. EPA said 93% of their people were non-essential. So yes, we as the elected leadership, we as elected representatives of our districts, we and our staffs are working. My staff, I think the average right now is about 10 hours a day, but we are working to make certain that we answer all the questions that our constituents have, and that we are working to meet the needs of our constituents and their interface with the federal government. We join people in being frustrated. We know they're frustrated. We didn't want a government shutdown. We had been hopeful that the Senate would work with us on a budget and a continuing resolution. They chose not to do that. We are hopeful that the president will work with us on the debt ceiling. He had said he would not negotiate, but bear in mind that 53 times since 1973 the debt ceiling has been raised. 27 of those times were negotiated, dealing with different provisions that were needed for reining in spending or reining in regulation. So the customary approach is to sit down at the negotiating table and work it out, and we hope the president will change his mind and will actually do that with us.
Well, hopefully we get a little bit more news later this afternoon. Marsha, appreciate you joining us this morning. Have a good day, and we'll check in soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Sure.